Well, well, well. It's me on YouTube. I say this every time, and I feel like I sincerely mean it this time. I want to do this more. I have burned myself out a bit creatively, not even doing the things I want to do creatively, and so I want that to change. It's a big goal I have for this next year, and there's already a lot of really exciting things lined up that I can't wait to share with you all. But this video, although it's kind of correlated to that, something coming up next year is Nerdy Prudes Must Die! It's finally happening. I get to revisit my favorite gal, Stephanie Lauder, and I get to be in a Starkid show with Angela. It's so exciting. Okay, sometimes I think like I've told stories a bunch of times, but I realize I'm telling them to maybe a person or a time on like stream, where I realized like actually not a lot of people are getting this story. And so I decided to talk about it. I want to share with you all how I got into Starkid. With the Jingle Ball tour coming up, and like I said, Nerdy Prudes, I feel this is the perfect time to talk about my journey into the company and the privilege it was and it is. So it all goes back to 2018. That feels right. It all goes back to 2018. I was in a little show called Starry. You might know it. It's a musical about Vincent and Theo Van Gogh, written by Kelly D'Angelo and Matt Dahan. It is so special and near and dear to me. I played Jo, Theo's wife, and I was in the workshopping of the show for a very long time, since 2017. And in some of the readings I did, I was able to work with Dylan Saunders, Jamie Lynn Beatty, and Jeff Lynne. Right away, of course, like, here's the thing, I was starstruck. I knew who they were, of course. Very part of musicals, a big part of my narrative as a younger person. So it was very exciting to get to work with them because not only are they so incredibly lovely, they are so incredibly talented, which was wonderful. So I got to do these readings with them, work alongside them. It was great. Eventually we put up the show. We did a run at the Rockwell, and we did another run with a showcase in the summer of 2018. And around that time, Jeff, I want to say he messaged me on Facebook. Let's find this. Wait, how do I get to Facebook? Okay, June 25th, 2018. Mariah, so the theater company Jamie, Dylan, and I are part of is putting up a musical in LA in October at the Matrix Theater. The director, doesn't say Nick Lang, is looking for another actress to play multiple roles, and your talented soul came to mind. I'm gonna cry reading this. Are you down/around/interested in potentially, possibly auditioning? Here's more info, and sent the Kickstarter link. I replied with, "Aw, Jeff, thanks for thinking of me. That's so cool. I'd definitely be interested in auditioning. This sounds so hecking funny." Oh my god, I'm such a nerd. Obviously I know what Starkid is, but I'm keeping it cool. So that's how I got into auditioning. I got connected to Nick, and I was asked to prepare sides for characters who ended up being cut from Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. Oh yeah, the show was Guy Who Didn't Like Musicals. I was asked to sing a character song, and at the time, I had been working on such serious materials in film school. I didn't really have a lot going on in my book because the only stuff I was working on theatrically in Los Angeles were new works, and that was it. So I wasn't really auditioning for much at the time. So I sang freaking Watch What Happens from Newsies. If I have the footage, I'm gonna insert it at the end of this video, if I can find it. I wonder if I can. I did it at my parents' house. I was like, this is not good. I'm not gonna be chosen for this. But I wanted to so bad, and I almost didn't do it. I almost didn't end up doing it because I was like, there's no way. Like, I'm not gonna be picked. I did, and like actually like my life drastically changed after that. So I do. I submit it. I don't hear anything. I continue on with my days. We put up Starry, and after I think our closing show at the Zephyr, these were pre-Rockwell shows, Jeff comes up to me and he goes, "Congrats!" And I'm like, thinking like it's about the show we just did. I'm like, oh, and he's like, you're in Starkid. Hello? I was like, oh, and he's like, yeah, I think Nick's gonna be in touch with you soon. This is gonna be so much fun. And I remember driving in the car after the show being like, holy shit, like I'm gonna be working with these people who I really admire, and I'm just a silly little guy. At the time I was only 22 years old, which just like a little baby. And I really didn't know what to expect at all. I remember going into the first rehearsal, probably, oh my god, I would hate to see like a video back of me doing that. I feel like I was just so eager and just like, hi, my name's Mariah, it's so nice to meet you, like shut up. But it was so nice to meet them. I was terrified. I was absolutely terrified of everybody. I feel like I really started to come into my own when we started doing dance rehearsals for like Cup of Roasted Coffee with like Jamie, Lauren, and James. I felt like at that point, I felt ready to be there. I think not ready to be there, but like worthy's not the right word either, but I think things were calming down and I felt like a part of it. I still really underestimated I really underestimated Starkid fans, which is so dumb of me because I've been in big fandoms before. I have been a fan, a passionate fan, but I never imagined that I could be in a world that encounters fans who were like myself. It was and is so tremendously special at the time, and for like really a while, a bit of a culture shock. This is no like, I don't want this to come off of like, it was really hard for me. It wasn't hard for me, but it was a new thing to maneuver Starkid fans as well as like not long after Mean Girls and Broadway stands. That was a difficult thing for me at 23, 24, 22 to 24. I was so like wildly insecure at the time and struggling in ways that we do not need to talk about via YouTube at this time on this carefree video. But it was a very new thing for me. So if you've been around since the beginning, I sincerely thank you for your patience with me, because I think there was a lot that I had to figure out, and there were a lot of places that I really needed to grow up in that I feel really confident about now and really proud of myself now. And I might cry, I don't know. I think going into Nerdy Prudes as, oh my god, I'm gonna be 27 when the show is put up. I was 22 in Guiding Light Musicals. I'll be 5 years older. I was almost 23 though in Guy. I am a fully new person doing this show. My relationship with theater is so different. I love it so much. If anything, I love it more, but I love it differently. Actually, my relationship with theater is probably almost exactly the same as it was when I did Guy, if I really think about it, because when I did Guy, I was so heavily in film school, and that was like my full dream. And then I think something happened where I was like, I need to pursue theater more. I owe that to myself. And I did, and wonderful things came out of it. And I still love it, and I would never want to not do theater, ever. But my heart, after this amazing 5-year arc, really misses and yearns for writing and film, which is what I've wanted to do my entire life, which is why I moved out to Los Angeles. So all of this rant to say, I'm really excited to do this next Starkid show in a place where I feel much more grounded as an individual, where I feel so blessed with like the love I have in my life and the love that I've started to develop for myself, because I just think I look back at like 22 Mariah in that show, it was such a whirlwind, and I was so nervous about any line I said, every line I sung, being like, is this okay? Is this worthy? Compared to, like, the amazing, truly, like, I'm not gonna name all the names, you know the names, but like these actors that I'm working with, I just felt like they were so present, and I didn't know how to do that yet. And I feel like that comes with the relationship you build with yourself, and I feel really ready to do that within this next show. Something I've felt nervous about is I'm not that Mariah from Guiding Light Musicals. I don't know how that's going to be seen on tape or in the audience. My body looks different. I'm different. And I hope people love me just the same. Or more. Anyway, so it's been a long time since I did a live show with Starkid. After that, I was thankful enough to be included in Homecoming, which... Thank you, everybody. But it was such a joy. That was like maybe the most in my life I've ever felt like a superstar, was being in Homecoming and doing Status Quo with Alex. Me starting to sing in the audience cheering for Mariah. That was something new, because it's like you can be cheered for as a character, but being cheered for as yourself, that's something that still feels very foreign, and maybe not necessarily like for me. I love it in those moments, but I don't know if I could ever. That's why I've really never pursued like being a solo artist, because I'm like, please don't look at me, I'm a fool. But yeah, that was so special. And then of course Black Friday, the whole time I was in the process for Mean Girls, and they knew, and like we all know, the best thing in the world happened, which is Angela ended up playing Lex, who I was originally cast as, and those are the moments that, not to be dramatic, like make me believe in God, because it leads to these amazing outcomes, because that one thing happened. I'm so thankful. I remember watching Black Friday and being like, there's no freaking way I could have played this role. Like, this is Angela's role. And those are the moments that that's when I love theater. That's when I love it. I'm sure I could have played it fine. She's magic. She's magic in it. She's Lex. So, yeah, and then the blessings of Nightmare Time. I was asked a lot when I was with Mean Girls if I would come back to Starkid. The answer was always yes. I never assumed I left Starkid. It was just I don't get to do the next show. But it's a company that I will be a part of as long as they have me. There's still a lot of times I feel imposter syndrome within Starkid, and it's not due to anything anyone has made me feel. It's just really looking up to the people I get to work with and really admiring them, which I think is a big part of this industry in general, and something that I think was really good for me to experience at a younger age, and something I know I'll experience again as I get to work with more people I admire. But I guess that's the journey. I know we had a little bit of an emotional blip in there, and I don't think I've looked at the camera a lot in the eyes because it scares me, and I feel like I'm making direct eye contact with you while I'm being vulnerable. I do kind of want to recover Not Your Seed. I wanted to do that during the Halloween season, but what you can't see behind this camera is our entire apartment packed up, because we've had to do some servicing in here, so there's no room to move around and film. So that's why I didn't end up doing that, but it would be fun to re-record it before Nerdy Prudes, of just like a look at where you are, look at where you started, you know. But yeah, if you want any more interesting stories, maybe I'll do them. Thanks for supporting me. Come out to see it. Let me know if you're gonna see the tour or if you're gonna try and see Nerdy Prudes. And yeah, and if I get asked a lot too, would anyone be able to audition for Starkid? And this is what I'm going to tell you, and this is the most I can say without Corey Lubowich coming for my head. Yeah. Starkid Nerdy Prudes put out a casting notice on Actors Access, and maybe I know people coming in to do Starkid that weren't in Starkid before. Ah! I don't know. I guess that's it. I love you. Bye. Write what you know, so they say. All I know is I don't know what to write or the right way to write it. This is big, lady, don't screw it up. This is not some little vaudeville I'm reviewing. Poor little kids versus rich, greedy, sour pusses. It's a cinch. It could practically write itself, and let's pray it does. Because if I may have mentioned, I have no clue what I'm doing. Am I insane? This is what I've been waiting for. Well, that plus the screaming of 10 angry editors. A girl? It's a girl! How the hell? Is that even legal? Look, just go and get her. Not only that, there's a story behind the story. Thousands of children exploited, invisible. Speak up, take a stand, and there's someone to write about it. That's how things get better. Give life's little guy some ink, and when it dries, just watch what happens. Those kids will live and breathe right on the page, and once they're center stage, you watch what